All right. Good evening, Black geniuses. Welcome to the Black Wealth Project. My name is Courtney Richardson. I am accompanied by my wonderful, talented brothers, Kamari Ellis and Jimmy Williams. We are missing two of our comrades. They may or may not be. I think Corey is not joining us tonight, and Tracy may be a little bit late. But that being said, we are having such a wonderful conversation, or at least thought provoking, about race, clickbait, 9/11, and Black wealth. So I know that's a lot. I think it's a lot for us to cover, but you know how we do. We get it done and we make it fun and exciting. So before we actually get rolling into the topic, a couple of things that we need to deal with. First, I want you guys to I don't think we've done a location check-in for a while. So I'm going to ask you guys to let us know where you're from. And how you found out about the Black Wealth Project, because I think we kind of people fall into us, and I'm like, well, how did you find us? Let us know. But also, while you're doing that, I do want to talk about Michael K. Williams. May he rest in peace. He was such an amazing actor. He was such he was called a thespian, which is like an actor on stage. And that's what he was. Like, he became the characters. He got into the characters. We believed his characters. And, to lose him, what was he, 51? Which is very young. He's very young. To lose him so early, and we know that he had more to give. It's just very sad. But I know, gentlemen, what do you want to share?
Well, first of all, I'm excited that Courtney is hosting tonight. I don't know if you guys recognize this, but Courtney is hosting the show, and this is amazing. Kamari is getting ready to be in rare form, so I'm preparing myself for it. But no, in terms of Michael K. Williams, man, it was one of those situations where, similar to the Kobe thing, where it's like you hear the news and you're like, no, not him. Like, because you know how young these guys are and what they mean to the culture. And he has a couple roles that are just like, that will live forever. Everybody, Omar, Chalky White, he has these certain roles that are just a part of the fabric of our culture that will live forever. And, so that energy is never going anywhere. But, it was very sad. People are dealing with issues and they're hurting. And, you hate to see it. But the crazy part is when you see some of these folks that are dealing with issues, they're brilliant in other ways. It's a weird dynamic. They're able to express themselves in ways that most of us can't. So, he'll forever live through his art, rest in power. But it's definitely still a sad thing. Definitely big loss.
Yeah, it's definitely a hurt piece. And good evening, everybody. I was hurt. I was immensely hurt. Big fan of Omar. Big fan of Chalky White. Big fan of Michael K. Williams, because the man was just so unapologetically Black. Plus, as Courtney said, he was a thespian. And a thespian is like the top level of acting. Like, you can't go any higher than that. That's a person that really takes their craft seriously. And just for him to be taken and so young, and then just to see all the other stuff that he was battling with, it was really sad. It was really sad.
Yeah, and I mean, you're right. So, like, anyone who knows me knows that how big of a fan I am in The Wire. I think The Wire is the greatest show pound for pound, and I don't think it's like nothing that compares to The Wire. So it's just a lot, man. Like, and to hear about the issues that the brother had and what he was struggling with, and then the way it went, it's just, man. But at the end of the day, like I said, try to put a positive spin on it. He will live forever through his art, but it is a huge loss.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, I loved I didn't know he had a love of house music.
Well, he's New York, right? And so New York, a lot of people don't realize that house back in the day used to be really big in New York. Even though Chicago is kind of the home of house, but New York, house heads are crazy. If you think about the Jungle Brothers, house music all night long. I mean, so yeah, house is definitely big in New York.
I've been in Chicago. It's different in Chicago, though. It's a culture. It's a culture there.
It is.
But it's it's tough, man. And the one thing Kamari said is true. He was unapologetically Black, like through and through. So that's one thing I always remember. And also the good thing is I found that clip, I posted it where the brother, I'm gonna call him Bunk. I think I'm gonna call him Bunk because he is Bunk to me. Definitely gave him his flowers while he was here. So that was an amazing clip to see. It was very touching.
I think it's important to make sure that we are giving our flowers at every, I think sometimes we hold it off for a special occasion. And I think if anything, we've learned over the last, year and a half is that we don't know when the next special occasion will be, or even if we are going to make it to the next special occasion. And we've talked about how Thanksgiving are out of COVID or out of quarantine or whatever this is going to look very different for a lot of people. So
yeah. Real quick, I just wanted to say something real quick. I bring up unapologetically black, right, in regards to Michael K. Williams, because the man clearly was about his craft. He was making money. He was making impact. And again, I go back and I say unapologetically black because there's so many people that believe you can't do all together. Mm-hmm. They feel like you have to be one or the other. Like you either talk the Queen's or the King's language or you talk Ebonics. And you can never bridge the gap. But Michael K. Williams clearly shown that you can be at the top of your class, make good money, and still be unapologetically black. And I think that's so important to talk about because, some people see people rise up and they don't feel that they are welcome to the cookout. But clearly this guy was definitely welcome to the cookout and he rose to the top of his ranks. So yeah. I just want to talk about that real quick.
And the thing is, like, when you go back and look, he often talked about his problems, like, things that he dealt with. And one of the things that he talked about, I saw somebody, when someone passes, you start seeing clips of everything on Twitter and Facebook and all that. But one of the things he talked about is because of how rough he had it growing up, that he still deals with trauma from his youth. So, it's like, man, it's tough to hear, but then you start to think about all the other people who are out there, dealing with whatever they're dealing with, and we just don't know. We had a great conversation, kind of a back and forth, because Kamari always want to argue with me, about the issues that.
Do y'all hear the slander?
That's not slander. Hey, listen, you sometimes I know you just like to argue on the side. I know what you do, but just about how some of our people are dealing with a lot of things, and then certain times they get resources and we be like, well, they're okay. They got money now. So they're fine. They don't have to worry about whatever they're dealing with because they got money now. And that's not the issue. And I know we were having the back and forth based upon what Akon said. But at the end of the day, it's not, the fact of the matter is, if you have demons, that's the new word, right? The new word is demons everybody has. Although that's kind of overused in the culture right now. But if you have demons, money doesn't erase your demons. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't.
But I say that real quick though, because I saw somebody like post a pizza like I'm battling my demons. Like, come on, dog. You just want a pizza, like. So it's overused.
Yeah, but I think it's a good, when it's being used properly, I think it's a good way to describe it. I think just as a group of people, we are very spiritual. Mm-hmm. I mean, just really so understanding that it's a little bit beyond you. Sometimes whatever ailment you're dealing with. I do think it's helpful to describe, but I also think it's not helpful to describe because, with a demon, it's something that you can't necessarily control. And I think sometimes you can control it, but it's, who was it? It was DMX. He said, listen, someone said, are you still you still use drugs? You still have a drug problem? He's like, I have a drug problem every day. I battle it every day. And I think once you're able to really put it in that perspective, I think it becomes a little bit more, I mean, I don't know if DMX is the best example for this, but it becomes a little bit more livable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's so we're just giving him his flowers.
Yeah.
I would like to kind of pop over to the comments. I see some really good comments, and Latoya shared something I thought was really interesting.
Hold on, y'all. We got to sound the horn.
Horn.
We got to sound the horn. Royalty's about to arrive.
Oh, Tracy's coming. There's Tracy.
The jokes. Happy Sunday.
Hey, I like how it wasn't even thought of who was coming. Once he said royalty, everybody knew who it was. It wasn't even a thought of, who else was coming. It was like royalty. Oh, Tracy.
I can't. Hey, y'all.
Hey,
Tracy. All right, so Courtney's driving the car this week, y'all. So she's in charge. So what do you want me to do, Courtney?
Let's say hello to our people, our folks.
Okay.
Peace.
Jose's in the building.
Jose.
Hey, Jose. Hey, Don.
Don.
The show is officially started now. Don T.
Yeah. So as Tracy, thanks for joining us. What I did ask is that, how people found us, where they're from, just to kind of get the conversation started. We just did give our flowers to Michael K. Williams. May he rest in peace. We have not talked about the 50 Cent nonsense. And I don't even know if we're going to get into it. I don't know if it's even worth it. But Latoya did share that. She said, Roy, run that back. She said that he didn't know. Latoya said she didn't know that Michael K. Williams had a drug problem. I didn't either, honestly. I did not know. I mean, now that I'm like catching up on his videos, now I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
he actively talked about it.
So I kind of knew, but I thought he beat it. I thought he beat those demons. So,
but I guess that's the thing. You never do beat it,
right? And so, as you're saying, like, it's like, damn, I thought you won. I thought you beat that battle.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, he didn't. And he said that he started really feeling overwhelmed by the role he played in Lovecraft Country. Mm-hmm. So that brought a whole lot back for him to deal with. And, that's been kind of a recurring theme when people talk about some of the roles they play and how torturous they can be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was a lot in that role. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he opened up some portals that he couldn't close in that role.
Can I say this real quick? I think we have to give Tracy the official pastor title because Tracy be preaching.
Hey man, listen, I keep telling y'all that. Y'all do not listen to me, man.
I'm peeping it, baby.
Listen.
I'm like, y'all keep trying to push this role on me. I've had a couple other people outside of the Black Wealth Project family say the same thing to me, and I'm like, y'all.
But we're not pushing anything. You just said portals, right? And I'm joking about it, but it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can unlock some stuff,
right,
that we either have buried deep down inside.
Correct.
If y'all want to go the spiritual route, we can go that route too. But let's stick with this buried deep down inside for right now. And you bring it back to the forefront and you have no idea how to deal with it.
Correct.
So,
that's fair.
That's fair.
Listen, life is tough, man.
Mm-hmm.
From Chicago.
All right. So Adrian is from Chicago. She's headed to the Burbs next month. She's excited about that. She found a group for me. Okay. She went to a Brown Girls Do Invest event 2 years ago, probably our Chicago event. And I was on the panel. And then so she followed everybody on Instagram and Facebook. So yay, Adrian. And you're moving out to Chicago Burbs. Congratulations.
Congrats. Moving on up.
That is exciting. Mari, Latoya. See, I didn't know this either, that Michael K. Williams started off as a dancer. Yeah. And that he choreographed one of Crystal Waters' videos as a break how he got into the industry. First of all, I didn't even know that. Crystal Waters was my girl. Like, I was a huge Crystal Waters fan.
Well, I'm like, who's Crystal Waters?
She was like around CeCe Peterson kind of time. I can't offhand. I don't remember like there. You're like, how she was a huge fan. Like, I just had like a mixtape that I made at home between Crystal Waters. Like, I really sat down with I was doing it between CeCe Peterson and Crystal Waters, and I was just like, getting it. So I can't remember any of her songs, but I can tell you about the mixtape though that I made. That was fire. That I wish I could like bring it back for like now and put on MP3, like, do my whole thing anyway. But and so I didn't know that. But Adrian said that she's a house head for life, because we were talking about how Chicago is a house mecca. And then but New York kind of picks up those things and kind of makes it its own. So yeah. I see you, Adrian. So hey, Romaine.
Hey.
Romaine, how you doing?
Okay. Jose found us through his connection to Jimmy and Han Yolo. Who is that?
Yeah, that's Corey.
That's Corey's new alias.
He has an alias?
Han Yolo.
Jimmy got aliases. Corey got aliases. They like Nori. They on the run eating.
Hey, listen, it's my older Wu-Tang. I stay with the alias, you know.
I see. So Crystal Waters, just for clarification, 100% Pure Love was like my favorite. So I was like, I had to pull up her list.
Oh, Cece Peniston, did she sing? What she sing?
You can't just say it. You got to sing it.
Who?
The 100% Pure Love.
No.
That's how they know the song. Like
What was Cece's big song? Was it Keep On Moving? The Cece Keep On Moving?
Yeah, CC had a couple of them. Keep on moving.
Yeah, Keep On Moving. Finally.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cece got some slaps.
She did. I mean, that's definitely. I didn't know that Crystal Waters was 59 years old, though. Gracious. All right. So let's see. So speaking of the cookout, Big Brother is fired this season. Hi, Monica.
Hey,
So
Monica.
can we talk about that?
I'm struggling to find a connection though.
All right. Well, here's because we talked about being invited to the cookout. So Big Brother, for those that don't know, is a game show. We're huge fans of Big Brother, by the way. But this is the first season.
Is this the show when people be like naked on the island trying to force?
No. Big Brother is like literally like chess, but it's hard to explain. So they all live in a house and they put they have certain contests or what have you, and have to vote each other out. But so nobody's naked or anything like that. But this is a monumental season because we will have our first Black winner. There's only 6 people left, and they're all Black, and they actually work together to get to this point. That's what made it a huge accomplishment because people create alliances all the time. And there's never been anything like this. So you've probably seen it on your timeline. If anybody watches Big Brother, this was like a huge thing. And they called themselves the Cookout, which made it even funnier. So they had an alliance called the Cookout, and the 6 Black folks, and they worked together to get to the point where now they're the only 6 left. So we will have our first Black winner.
Yeah, very excited. I don't pay attention to Big Brother as more specifically for the same reason that you talked about, Jimmy, is that there's never been a Black winner. Like I've never.
No, it hasn't.
So I'm just kind of like, man, whatever. I kind of the same way felt the same way about The Apprentice, but we won't talk about that.
I don't think people understand. We love Big Brother. I actually have a Big Brother group on Facebook with several hundred people in it. By the way, like I have my own Big Brother group. Like so like I'm none mind.
Jimmy, do you? You know what? Never mind. I'm on my business. Let's move on. So, so Angela said, "What's up? Are you pulling up the comments?"
Yes, boss. Yes, a boss.
Anyway,
hey Angela.
Hey Angela. Don. Yeah. So Don makes it. We were talking about Michael K. Williams' addiction, and he shared, "Once an addict, always an addict. The monkey will never get off your back." Unfortunately, we've definitely seen that in play. So Latoya shares, so using Michael K. Williams as an example, where's the balance between art and respecting it and intervention as a community that says, maybe you should sit this one out?
What's tough?
That's a good question. I think, you don't know that it's gone too far with you personally until it goes too far with you personally. Was it Heath Ledger? Who's the one who played the Joker?
Heath Ledger.
Yeah, Heath Ledger.
Yeah. I mean, he played the goat, and he was the best Joker they ever had. But then again,
what did he sacrifice to be that?
Right. What do you mean, Tracy? What was that?
That's Joker.
You like Jack Nicholson?
Jack Nicholson. I'm a purist.
So I guess it depends upon so Jack Nicholson was more on the comedy side, and Heath Ledger was more on the serious side. So it depends upon which book you like.
But wait a minute, before we go any further, Tracy, who's the best Batman? Kristen Bell's the best Batman. Come on, Tracy.
Kristen? Oh no. I wouldn't have went straight to Kristen.
I like Michael Keaton was my favorite.
Michael Keaton probably was the most.
So y'all really believe Michael Keaton was beating dudes up in the dark alley somewhere? Like, come on, y'all. Come on.
Poor Tink.
I got a question about that though. On that topic, right? How do you guys feel about when you have these characters, the Batman, the Joker, when they make them Black, right? Do you feel like we should make the characters that already exist Black or create our own character? Because this is like an argument I see people having, and as it pertains to Black wealth, it's relevant. So I want to see how y'all feel about that.
I'm torn by it. Right. For example, James Bond. Best James Bond is the last dude. Just for the record.
Even better than Sean Connery?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
However, unless the character already had a Black, was already written in, I'm not at this point. I'm not really with the changing of characters racially just for the sake of changing them. Gotcha. So, for example, there was already a Black Green Lantern. There was already a Black Superman. in the comics, like officially. They're changing some now, like that movie. What's the movie they got coming out now with the guy from This Is Us? They changed that to an all-black cast. I can't think of the name. Somebody in the audience help me out. I know y'all know what I'm talking about.
You talking about the one?
It's a new movie coming out with the black guy from This Is Us.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but
you're talking about Randall from This Is Us.
Yes, and he's in this new series.
Is it Sterling K. Williams, or am I making that up?
No, I don't think you're making it up.
Like, well, like, does he have a K in his name too?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'll look it up. But while we're waiting, right? I always think that it's a bit of a stretch, and I feel like sometimes it's a bit of a pander.
Gotcha. I don't know how you thought about that, because I get the other side of that too. Like, none of these things are real, right? So you can write whatever you want to,
right?
And representation matters. So a little kid singing a black Superman probably would mean something to that little kid.
Correct.
But on the other side, you can create your own characters. Like, we have enough people that are brilliant and have imaginations where we can come up with our own stories.
Like Jimmy, I love what you brought out, right? I didn't get it yet, but like, I'm a comic book head. Matter of fact, I got a whole stack of comics just about 2 arm lengths away from me. I love Black Sands. The joint you showed me, Concrete
Comics, amazing.
And I think you have an interview on there that I need to go check for. Or By the Hood. Everybody go check out By the Hood. But I love that. I showed my son some of the artwork. He was like, yo. He was like, they about their business.
Yeah, they serious.
And I mean, so for me, that, even though I know they're kind of getting it from the mud, that gives me more pride than to see somebody just out of the blue just change up and say, all right, we got this new black character because of all the racial injustice we've been had that nobody really wants to be serious about.
No, I got you. Okay, I just wonder how you guys felt about it.
Yeah.
I think it's relevant.
But I got even annoyed when Storm wasn't dark skinned.
Yes.
Like, I was really, so I guess it's.
So you weren't here for a Beyonce Storm
or Halle Berry. I mean,
facts.
Like, I mean, and again, it's not that I have a problem with Halle Berry. Like, I like her a lot, but it was just, to me, it was just so off to her essence in the book, in the comic book.
Now, to be fair, there's multiple versions of Storm, whether you read the original Black Panther from like back in like the 60s, 70s, versus there's a newer one that was written by what's the brother's name? That it's actually 2 new ones. The brother that wrote House Party, I forgot his name.
Yep.
He had one in the early 2000s, and then the most recent one was written by Between the World and Me. What's his name? Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote the newest ones.
Well, I thought he did Black Panther. He did X-Men too.
He did a little bit. So now he's doing a little bit of so now he's basically a comic writer at this point. But the thing is, Storm is in Black Panther.
Yes, because they were married.
They're married.
Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. Storm is in Black Panther. So he did write Black Panther, but what I'm saying is, so depending upon which version there is a version, I'm not sure which one it was. I gotta look at the books. I have the books where she's lighter, but I get your point though.
I personally don't have a problem with seeing Black folks in traditional roles that were already for white characters.
Okay.
I don't feel like we have enough roles where it's not still taboo to see a Black person in the lead role. Like, it's still kind of a, oh my God, look who they casted for Peter Pan, or look who they casted for Superman, or look who they cast for Han Solo. Like, it's still very much a spectacle, and it's 2021.
Yeah, what bothers me is when I see them cast Egyptians and they be like straight blonde hair, blue eyes. That bothers me more than anything.
Well, that's been happening since forever. And I guess that's probably part of my disdain for this. It's like, let us have our own stuff. We got our own history, our own culture. And not to take away from what Tracy said, because she's 1000% correct. But I just feel like our shit's so dope. We don't need the, what do they say?
Yeah, we don't, but I think it also, like, sometimes we don't really get the love that we deserve as in the craft when we don't. because a lot of things, and I was wondering as we were talking about how Michael K. Williams did it for the culture, is like my question is, was he going to be able to kind of branch out a little bit more? And I don't know the answer to that. But because he was
when you say branch out, what do you mean?
So he did Lovecraft Country. He also did, The Wire. We know him as Omar from The Wire. I say that to say, could we see him as a 007?
Oh, so you're saying you feel like he was typecast, and the reason I bring that up,
I don't even know I think typecast. I think
but he did a whole commercial on that. That's why I brought that up, and I think the tie-in is kind of dope. I don't know if you see Omar or Michael K. Williams as 007. People talked about Idris. I don't want to see Idris as 007, but I do think he is credible. He's worthy, and he's got the chops to do it though. Yeah. So unlike the Red Hats, right? The 6F, well, and sometimes the Nubian Red Hats, it's not about talent, because some of them try to say that we don't have the talent. That's caca. That's not true at all. We have the talent. We have the range. I just would rather us go into do our own roles. But again, there's no wrong. There's no wrong.
Yeah. Okay. I'm here for our own roles. I just know that the independence isn't where the money is. It isn't where the backing is. It isn't where the notoriety is.
That's facts.
To sway some of those larger audiences to look and feel with us in mind in order to make those smaller independent spaces pop.
And just for the record, I am not like a Disney shamer, right? Because everybody wants to go around and say Black Panther not a black movie, it's owned by Disney. But again, to Tracy's point, it put Chadwick on a whole other level. It put matter of fact, Randall K. Sterling on another level. It put so many of us on another level that we can be recognized. So for me, again, I do prefer the original roles for us, but however, I'm still in awe of some of the other stuff. Like Black Panther is amazing. That whole production is amazing.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So I think we have some comments from J.A. Sharing a little bit more about Mike. So he says, Mike from the project out here in Brooklyn. He said, we don't get mental health resources when we're children. Anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, among everyday violence. He spoke about being molested and how it confused him as far as his sexuality. The role he played in Lovecraft definitely brought up the childhood trauma. R.I.P. Mike.
Wow. I don't think I knew that. Oh
yeah.
I didn't know that either. So,
and it was crazy. And this is another point too. How you find out so much about people when they're gone, and then you realize like they've been telling us this whole time.
Oh,
right.
You know what I mean? Like they've been telling us these things the whole time, but we don't recognize.
That with that background, he still chose to do that role with Lovecraft.
Well, I think sometimes you, and I don't know what made him choose it, but sometimes as a person is that one, you feel like this is the way for you to deal with it.
Yeah.
This is somebody you can do it well because of it. And I think no one really expects it to affect you in a negative way.
Yeah, you got
it did put him in another realm.
It did.
But at what cost?
That's crazy. It's intense, and it's intense that Black folks who, don't subscribe to therapy and don't understand how that process works. You got to be real careful stepping completely into the role and trying on your suit of trauma, because the reverberal effects for your psyche and your spirit are so crazy. It's like being put under for like hypnosis and literally like reliving it as if it's happening today. That's a lot. And I wouldn't recommend that for anybody who's experienced trauma, who hasn't dealt with it or seek any kind of professional help to help them untangle it.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes to show also as a community. I know we've come a long way in terms of us even having conversations about mental health.
Right.
But it's still so much farther to go, man. Like, A lot of us deal with things, and we don't. Speaking of that, I just want to say this real quick. Shout out to Jose, who's in the chat right now, because I was reading Jose's book, and Jose's book is very inspiring to me personally because Jose is so transparent that I feel like I just be ready to like share my business with everybody because I'm like Jose tell it all. Like, so Jose, shout out to you because your ability to be transparent is admirable and inspiring. But I think that just my main point was we have a long way to go in terms of mental health, specifically within our community, which is why like the work that like Black Men Heal does is so important because they go into environments that mental health isn't generally talked about at all. Like if I think back to my childhood, like no one talked about seeking mental health or having mental health. In fact, you were told like we don't do that.
We don't talk about
it. Well, real quick, let me just piggyback on Jimmy real quick. I want to give another shout out real quick to the community and shout out to Liz. Liz just dropped her podcast, y'all. It's called Medicine and Mortgages, the podcast. I listened to the first episode. It's super dope.
Yes.
And as a community, I would ask us all go out and support Liz. And it's just the same way that I asked for us all to go out and support Jose. So y'all show up.
Oh yeah, I'm subscribing right away.
Yep.
And he's another one who's very transparent as well.
Yes.
Awesome.
Listen, that story.
Yeah.
She shared her story. And I was like, yo, I have felt so much of this from imposter syndrome to failure to so many things.
Oh, she getting to it on the first episode?
Yeah.
She getting to it, dog. She ain't holding no punches.
Oh, all right, Liz. We
punches.
We're gonna pull you up in the crib tonight on this side, man. Congratulations. Because first of all, congratulations on just like, putting yourself out there, but just doing it. Because young people tell me I want to do a podcast and they never do anything, like a lot of people. So you did it. So congratulations. You'll definitely get a subscriber from me, and I gotta hear you talk your talk in the first episode.
Yeah, I loved it.
Same.
Yeah, but I'm just inspired by y'all that the people that are just unapologetically them and are willing to share like parts of their story, which most people just aren't. I think that's I get all kinds of inspiration from people like that.
I do as well. Facts.
Same. Love it. Our community.
Yeah.
What you say, Tracy?
I said our community is so dope.
They are. Love them.
All right. So where are we, Kamari?
JA says we need to bring more out of our characters rather than making the white characters black. It's richer in the development of characters when their original story comes.
Okay, I'm with that. Hey, Elizabeth, by the way, if you ever need me to come on so we can slander 6 Fs together, I'm available. Just letting you know.
But Elizabeth, if you ever need anybody to come on so I can slander Jimmy, I'm available for that.
Y'all heard that. Okay. It's on the record.
I just want to be on the podcast just because I want to be on the podcast.
Listen, one of the things we can do, right, is we can do a crossover. We can do ours, because at some point we're going to launch all our podcasts out. We could have Liz come on and cross promote.
Hey, listen, I'm with all that.
Same thing for By the Hood, right? It could be since we're talking comic books, right? It could be the clash of the universes.
Oh my God.
Hey, listen, Liz, we're gonna get you on By the Hood too to talk about your podcast. Let's go.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, Liz, I'm gonna shoot you an inbox as soon as we get off here. I want you to promote your podcast on our podcast. See, that's how meta that is.
Yes, love it.
Don said drop the link to the podcast so everybody can check it out. Put that in the comments, Liz. We're trying to get you your subscribers up with our people.
Yes. So, I think it's time for us to transition. I know we have a lot of comments, but I think it's time for us to transition to, since the whole gang is here for tonight, race, clickbait, 9/11, and Black wealth. I think it's that time, guys.
We got a lot of stuff.
Let's
start with see who watched clickbait. Anybody before we start talking clickbait, who watched clickbait? For those that are
Tracy's got her hand up.
Tracy has her hand up.
I just finished it last night. Mind blown.
The entire did it one afternoon into an evening. Like,
yeah, I was telling Monica.
How many episodes is it?
8. And listen, I was telling Monica, I actually guessed who it was. I said, but that's not really bragging, because at some point I probably put a finger at everybody that ever walked on the screen. So I don't know if it's bragging saying that, because I think I blamed everybody anyway.
Yes.
Jimmy, at what episode did you guess it?
Not the last one, the one before that.
So in 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay. All right.
I did.
All right.
7. I probably.
Yeah.
Because I think that's when they showed her when they went. Oh, let me see. I don't know who's watching that. A spoiler alert for those that haven't seen it. But in that episode, they went like back to the school and they were showing her in the office and stuff. I was like, ooh, like But at that point, I had blamed everybody. Hold up, Courtney, you didn't finish it?
Oh my!
I haven't even started it.
Oh my!
What? This is hold up.
Well, listen, so Courtney, I have something I shared a thought I had, right? Because of watching ClickBait, and I see what's the best way to call it? Mob mentality. All right, without giving it away. I see mob mentality. And I have this post I want to share. And I think this is safe. We're not going to give it away. Are we all in agreement? We're not.
No, we're gonna leave it alone. I actually thought this was Court's idea, by the way. I said
it didn't say anything about nobody ClickBait.
Oh, all right, maybe Tracy said it. Somebody else said it outside of me, but
Are you sure?
Ahead, yeah, I'm sure somebody co-signed it.
Wasn't me.
So can y'all see this?
Yeah. Look, Kamari sharing his own page, but go ahead though.
Yeah. How are you sharing your own page? Kamari, what is this about?
Sharing on Facebook.
Come on.
So to me, and I've seen this happen more, but I saw it happen a lot in ClickBait, and it seems like the idea of innocent until proven guilty has all but disappeared.
That's before social media.
I know, but I feel like it's advanced even more now. Right? Social media, right? Social media hasn't changed anything, right? All it's done is put human behavior under a microscope.
Yeah, but it has. But in doing that, it's changed a lot because now, once listen, even if you're found out that you're not guilty, you're guilty anyway. Like the court of public opinion is a real thing now on social media. It makes it kind of. I told y'all. We don't realize it because we're living through it now. There's going to be the IG era. It's like the crack epidemic. We have an IG epidemic right now. Yep. And you see some of the stuff online that people do for views. It's absolutely insane. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely insane. Like dudes be out here doing all kinds of stuff. So many chicks is naked. Like I be sitting there like, she probably looks amazing with a sweater on. Because that's how because I'm still used to it. It's like I start to wonder. My mind is like, how do you look with clothes on? It's like this. The IG is insane, and IG has hit on something that I don't know how, but the other socials really haven't. Like the stuff I see on, it's just insane.
And some of the prank culture too, with people doing all kind of crazy stuff just to get noticed and get viewed, is dangerous.
It is. Yo, we had people walking across crates a couple weeks ago, like putting themselves in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yes, all for fun. And not only that, you have people walking on crates and people kicking them out underneath them.
We're living in some crazy times, and I don't think that
doing them harm.
Yeah, I don't think that we recognize it because we're living in it. But I think that we're gonna look back at this and be like, yo, what the hell was going on?
Yeah, it's definitely mob mentality. It's more about like, if you got the most attention, then you did it. You did it. You're guilty. Like, if everybody saw it, if all of you saw it, if it's shared 1 million times, that is what the truth is what was shared.
That's true.
But I put that post up. Put that post up, right? Again, it was generated because of ClickBait.
Right.
I think that's really dangerous for our community, though.
It is. Well, anything a lot of stuff is dangerous for us. I mean, that may be kind of innocuous to somebody else can really just mess us up in the game. And it happens all the time. I don't even know what else to say. But Elizabeth made a comment that I just need some clarification on. Can we pull that one up?
Which one? She made several.
She said, I want to see him as my husband. Can you help? See who as her husband?
I don't know if she's talking about somebody y'all was talking about playing James Bond, I guess. I don't know.
Who we talking about, Liz?
Like, what is going on there? What's going on in our comments?
She might be talking about Idris.
He's married, girl.
Yeah.
I mean, you can wrong with having 2 wives. Speaking of that, hold real quick.
Here we go, Jim. Go ahead.
Speaking of that, listen, I just want to make sure we definitely salute and say congratulations to Dr. Umar Johnson, who just got married yesterday. So I want to send him a congratulations because he's now, he has 2 wives, but congratulations. I mean, congratulations to Dr. Umar.
Can we talk about this? Like, do you have either you have married officially one person and this other person is like you're known, like wife in the house, or you married none of them.
I mean, you're speaking from a legal standpoint. You're speaking
Right.
from, that's if you follow those rules. Some of us don't live by the rules of this land. We live by our own
You're
rules.
gonna go to jail. It's a felony to be a bigamist.
I mean, there's a whole
Yeah.
polygamous community in Philadelphia. He's not the first person I know with two wives. So
Well,
congratulations to Dr. Umar.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so did you marry? So I guess my question is, did he marry anybody legally yesterday? Did he?
He married both of them.
No, legally. No, legally.
We don't care about these. We don't care about these Europeanized rules.
But was there paperwork?
Hey, listen.
And I need to know why he didn't get a manicure before he got married.
Damn, you were looking at his nails that close?
No, they were like right in the camera, and I was like, "What is going on here?"
No, I'm not entertaining this Dr. Umar foolishness. Moving on.
Yeah, definitely had to. Yeah, you had to talk about it.
I just want to send my congratulations to Dr. Umar.
Congratulations to Dr.
Congratulations, Dr.
Yes.
No.
And I have no problem with alternative marriages, alternative relationships, polygamy, polyamory, polygyny. I think they're all fine. I think it's actually something folks might want to explore more, especially with the shortage of man versus woman. But that's all I got for that one. Did I just blow Tracy's mind? Let me add another disclaimer. As long as all parties are willing.
Okay.
I'm not talking about lying.
Right.
I'm not talking about cheating.
Right.
I'm talking about full disclosure.
Consenting.
And everybody is with it. I'm not.
I mean, from a wealth standpoint.
Yes.
Listen, grown-ups can do it. Grown-ups want to do, and they can create whatever kind of relationships they want. I'm fully on board with full relationships, whatever y'all want to do.
That's all I'm saying, Tracy.
Whatever that is.
But I talk about Dr. Umar again in his letter.
Okay, glad we clarified this situation. All right. Yeah.
All right, so who was Liz talking about? Who was Liz talking about?
Was it Idris?
No, it wasn't.
She said not Idris. And she said not Umar.
No.
She had before two wives. Where is the school?
Ain't no.
Listen, I saw somebody say, "Did y'all see the school past the gym?"
The school was there. The school
was there.
No,
it wasn't ready. It wasn't done, but it's there.
They said you only saw the gym. Listen, I really hope he has a school. I think it's needed.
Yeah, it's definitely needed.
Somebody in the comments on this video about his marriage just said, "That's fine and good, but it said, where's Hotep Hogwarts at?"
Yeah, I saw that.
I thought that was amazing. Hotep Hogwarts. That's amazing.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's a lot going on. So okay, cool. So apparently so Latoya said that the women he married are the administrators of the school, the lower and the upper school. So he married them.
Allegedly.
I don't.
That's a family business, huh? I mean, congratulations to all of them. As long as they're happy, I'm happy.
All right, that's fine. We're just going to move on because I don't think anything good can come of this conversation anymore.
God damn it.
So JA shares that you can legally marry as many people as you want, but you're only going to be issued one license.
I don't think that's true.
No, that's the whole thing. You get a license to marry, and it's only one person.
Yeah.
And it's actually something that's done by the state. So Utah may make exceptions based on whatever they have going on. In Pennsylvania, that ain't it though.
I don't even think it's legal in Utah.
I don't know. I'm on my business.
I don't think that. Who cares what these whole things about like the law said this law. Listen, man, that's their rules.
I don't want.
All right, Jimmy. Listen, you tell me that next time somebody tries to steal your title.
Which title?
What title?
Any of them. If
you're talking about property title.
Yes. If somebody you push back and you say, I don't care about these laws. If somebody try to steal your title.
I mean,
we got.
I listen. The courts are there for me to go through, but they're not. What you think?
So we don't care about these white man laws.
All-purpose war. No, man. There's other ways to handle things.
What am I missing?
I've gotten evictions without going through the courts. Let's just leave it that way.
Lord.
Strap up.
All right, we're gonna move. We're definitely moving on. Yeah. So
that's cool. Again, whatever your flavor is.
You know, everything's not for everybody.
That's
I
right.
appreciate that. Okay, so Liz makes a very interesting point, though.
Definitely.
Can we share that?
Which the fluid or can afford?
Oh no, because what you said, I think it's about what you said about like the numbers from a number standpoint. And she's
Said he's
saying
not fluid, but from a tactical standpoint, it makes sense for women to marry women and don't at me. I mean,
here's the thing.
Hey,
I don't have a problem with business relationships to be able to create systems that allow for households and families to be run more efficiently. I'm here for that. But in
it's
the
gotta be right.
of marriage and partnership, they're definitely to be met.
And so I guess, y'all know Jimmy has called me out and called me a hotep a long time ago, undercover hotep. So I grew up around a bunch of people who practice polygamy. And what my mentor would say, real polygamy is not polygamy,
Yes.
Right? Real
like
polygamy is not polygamy, right? And so when I'm talking about it, I'm really talking about it from a holistic standpoint where everybody's being honored, everybody's being transparent. They're not just running around just trying to hump on everything.
Yeah.
It's really about family and building wealth.
Right.
That's, but again,
I've never heard that
doesn't work for
before.
everybody.
That's amazing. Polygamy.
I got to like the business and the dynamic and the structure of it from the TV show on HBO, Big Love.
Oh yeah, Big Love.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, wait, hold on. So if you're providing for all of these women and all of these children and they have a sharehold in the business or the relationships, now that's a functioning product here.
Absolutely. Like, he started wilding towards the end though, but
He definitely did.
I never finished that series.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen any of these shows.
Oh, it was a great show.
Oh my God, Courtney.
I'm not a big TV watcher. Ever since I owed money to Comcast in 2004.
Girl.
Listen,
some past trauma there.
It's not even past trauma. It's like I just got out of the habit of watching TV. So I only watch TV like in very specific circumstances. So, for example, what have I been watching? Like I watched Manifest. Like I watched Manifest all the way through. I was like, and it's coming back. But listen, they said that the kid's not coming back. The mom is dead. Like she dead. I'm very upset with all that. But that being said, is that I'm just not a big TV watcher. So I mean, I watch Real Chance at Love. I mean, on the Zeus Network, I can watch some real trash stuff. So it's not like I'm like above all of that.
Yo, Courtney is wild too. She be creating content based around like finances on like the Tyler Perry show on BET.
I was very frustrated with that. Oh yeah, so I also watch Sisters. So my mother-in-law got me watching Sisters. So I do watch that, and I mean, we do have to clarify some of the stuff. He was talking about cap gains. I'm like, you just made the money in less than a year, sir. Like, let's not do it. It's short-term capital gains, which is ordinary income. And don't you start your nonsense, Jimmy or Kamari.
I didn't say anything.
Talked about tax.
You just said it for me, right? You just proved my point. I ain't said Nathan about taxes tonight. You went first.
You definitely
right.
So anyway, so those are the things. I just don't watch that much TV. I mean, I read, I do a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm just not a big TV watcher.
Understood.
We were a TV movie household, so that was kind of like our thing.
So Monica said, we ain't exploring that mess over here. My husband is stuck with me and only me.
I know that's right, Monica.
Hey, Monica.
For the record, the comments of Kamari Ellis are not the thoughts, concerns, and opinions of the Black Belt Project. The Kamari Ellis alone.
Listen, I'm about to make a phone call to the Ellis household myself. Hey.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
Have at it. Courtney know all my folks, so she always trying to start a mess.
I like, hey, what's up, y'all?
Baba Mars said he gonna do what he want to do.
Right, Baba Mars said he gonna do what he do.
That's why you got to help me get this tax business rolling so I can have multiple wives. I'm just saying, I got to be able to provide for everybody.
Oh my goodness!
And take trips. And order out every night.
We are going down the wrong daggone path.
We're sliding now. Like what happened?
No, but in all seriousness, right? What Tracy, what did you think about ClickBait?
It brought up so many different topics of things that happen with social media and unwanted attention that can misdirect the morals of most society. And the twist and turn, I'm trying to be careful with my
It's
words,
hard, right?
give it away. But the details of the show with the twists and turns have to do with perception. And it has to do with what you would typically believe in most scenarios based off of what you saw, what was presented, what were the things that were the visual aids. And then when you realize that that's not even close to what the actual truth was, that was the meat and potatoes of a lot of the basis of the show. And that's where it started to expand your mind a little bit, like, yo, y'all, like what we're seeing on social media, Instagram, Facebook, even some people, what they put on different lives of different things, and what they're showing you is really only, 1D.
Yeah. So basically, what Tracy said, nothing online is real. Everybody is lying. All your favorite influencers are broke and they're lying and they're in debt up to their eyeballs. And but it was a couple things, Kamari, to that though. It was a lot of other issues in terms of social issues that I took from this as well, which is crazy, right? I don't want to give anything away, but like the couple, right, the husband and wife, and even how they were dealing with the police and the difference in dealing with the police based upon their race was kind of crazy, right? The instance with the son, right, where Pia took the son to the police, and the mom is like, "Whoa, like, what are you doing? We don't, it's a black boy. Like, what are you doing?"
I mean, Jimmy, I think we can give a little context.
All right, so that's not giving anything away. So there's an interracial couple. They have a son. All right, so there, with everything going on, the aunt took the son to speak to the police. The aunt is white, the mother is black, and the mother had a fit like, "Why are you taking my son to speak to the police?" Which is her nephew. Like, he's a black boy, and she didn't even understand like what's wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. He's just telling them what he knows. And the mom was like, "Whoa, we don't, voluntarily go in and talk to the police, not as black folks." Like that piece right there to me was interesting, right? So there's a lot within this show. I don't want to give anything away, but I thought it was rather interesting.
I want to talk about a scene, and there was some well-crafted, well-placed racial commentary. If you picked up on it, Jimmy, that was one of them. There was another episode, again, mixed couple race, two mixed couple boys or two black kids as a result of that union. They were out of school for a while, and they wound up going back to school. And there's this white kid bully, and he was talking about their mom to their sons. And so the oldest son kind of ate it.
Yeah.
He wanted to dick dude's boots, but he didn't. He wanted to, but he's a little older, a little bit more mature. The younger son, however, he with the shits.
He didn't get it.
You gonna get these hands.
Yeah.
And I see I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. Too. And so he took action. He winds up, and it's happened at school, and he winds up getting in trouble.
Right.
Now, mind you, the mom is also a teacher at the school. Everybody gets called into the principal's office. The sole focus was on the child fight. It was not about what the white child said to these black kids about their mama beforehand. And then
it was almost like there was no fight. Like he wasn't being held responsible for anything. It was they made it sound like he just walked up to him and like it just put hands on him.
Right. And I find that happening a lot now. It's always happened. It's almost how we joke but don't joke, and we say white women have caused all the racial issues here. They didn't do anything to accelerate it or egg it on. They just were the victims of a whistle or so-called rape. And this was almost like that. I got that same feeling in that situation. And the son had to apologize. and throw it in the same school. And I told my wife, I said, listen, not only will we not apologize, we might not go back to that school. Now, again, there were some other circumstances that were at play. So I get it. The mom is trying to keep a symbolism of normalcy, but that was a rough one for me. That was a rough one.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's interesting. There's a lot of stuff you could pick up like that. Go ahead, Trace.
No, I was just going to say, I almost stood up and literally cheered and clapped when the young man turned around and took matters into his own hands. Because I just always feel like it's the little ones you got to watch out for. Little ones be the one that sneak attack you and you think, but that's a whole another personal issue.
You know what's funny about that, Trace, is a part of me also, even though he took it on the chin, I was like proud of him too. Like, don't fall for it. Like, so I got proud of him, and then he goes off. I'm like, well, I'm proud of him too. Like,
that whole scene made me feel proud on so many different levels, because the older one took the mature route, went high when he went low, all those things, and the little one was like, nah.
But you know what? It's funny, right? The police use a tactic called good cop, bad cop. It
Correct.
Works. We should use it more. I'll just say that.
Okay.
I think
we should use that more.
Necessary in a lot of conflict situations that we do have a good cop, bad cop, because you do need to know that there is a possibility for you to catch these hands.
Yeah.
I'm choosing not to.
I'm gonna call your father. I think that's the most, but that's the balance you need sometimes, though. Yeah. It's like you need the appearance or the perception of a threat.
Yes, I agree with you. Agree with you. But yeah, good show, guys. I hope y'all watch it. Courtney.
Courtney, actually, I think you would enjoy it.
Yeah,
you would.
I was trying to see it, and then I saw like the preview, and I was like, that was just too heavy for me yesterday. I was like, oh no, because like I was like, I can't even do this.
Oh, the preview. Oh yeah.
I was like, no. I was like, I had ended up trying to like watch Coco Melon. It was just too much.
No, listen, y'all gotta watch Blood Brother on Netflix, which is phenomenal. Like, it's not as good as the book, but you gotta watch it.
So, all right, Jimmy, before we get into that, right? Do we watch is it okay to watch the doc first? Or is it okay? Or should you read the book first?
Watch the doc first. I mean, the doc is kind of a summation of the book, but watch the doc first. I mean, because it's only an hour and a half, you can knock it out real fast. But it's powerful, man, when you see, what can be accomplished via brotherhood. So I think it's definitely something we should all watch.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I think we should move on, guys. Because I think we tarried on ClickBait a little bit longer than I would have liked. But I think at this point, why are you laughing at me, Jimmy? So I think yesterday was a very powerful day. And what I mean by that is that it was the 20th anniversary of 9/11, which is probably the most infamous attack on American soil of modern times. Just so many people have so many 9/11 stories. It's very much of where were you? It was very much kind of our parents' time when it was like, where were you when JFK was shot? Very much of what were you doing on 9/11? And so many people had so many different stories. Personally, my uncle, to this day, I don't remember which tower he was in. He definitely did get out. He was in the first bombing in 1993, and he did share in 93. He's like, those who were there in 93 just took their stuff and rolled out, and was very quick about it. Now, there were, so very much so. Like, and again, I don't really remember which tower he was in. I just don't know. But he's here, and he actually has talked about back and forth writing a book. And I've never gotten a chance to sit down and ask him those questions, and I really should. But I just don't have the ability. Like, you lived it. Like, I just feel like it's very selfish of me to be like, hey, could you tell me which one you were in and what happened that day? Like, it's been 20 years. And again, like I said, he was there in 93 too. So it's like, maybe not. But I think our conversation that we wanted to talk about is how 9/11 affected the Black community and how 9/11 affected Black wealth, if it did at all. So I would like to kind of start with Kamari, since he's been, so quiet tonight.
I've been quiet tonight. I thought I was getting these jokes off, but okay. I guess I need. Listen, do we need more jokes? I guess I'm not doing a good enough job. But listen, 9/11 for me was very traumatic. I'll never forget. My son was in either second or third grade, and where was that? I was at a buddy's house after I dropped him off from school, because we would go to school together as well. I was still in college at the time, and I literally watched the first plane hit the tower, and it was like, what just happened? And we kind of just sat there and shock it off a minute, and was like, wow. And then after that, next, I went to pick my son up from school, because it was like, I don't know what's going on. The radio was crazy. Then there was reports of the Pentagon. Then I think the second tower hit. I might be getting the sequence mixed up a little bit. And then the plane was grounded in Western Pennsylvania. And it was just crazy. And I just remember calling. I had family in New York, and I remember I couldn't get in contact with them because the cell phone towers were all jammed up with phone calls. And the landlines, you couldn't even really get through with a lot of the landlines. I mean, a lot of people had stopped using landlines as much during that time as well. So it was just absolutely crazy. But when we talk about Black wealth, I think every iteration of enforcement or enactment of legislation becomes crazy. Because right after 9/11, I think it was like 2 or 3 days later, I want to say it wasn't the Patriot Act, but it was the precursor, I believe, to the Patriot Act. And Congress has said, we're going to war. And then just think about how many Black folks were in the military that got sent to Afghanistan. Mind you, they were talking about Iraq and Iran, then they wound up going to Afghanistan first, and then the war didn't spread to Iraq because of quote unquote WMDs. But for me, I just think about again how many Black folks got scrambled up to go to war. Many lost their lives. Many of them had PTSD coming back. You can see right now what's going on in Afghanistan and everything with the pullout. It's really, really rough. And then we saw these laws get enacted. And then we saw all the Islamophobia happening, right? And Courtney even mentioned when we were talking about this earlier, Black Muslims, right? Not Arab Muslims, but truly Black Muslims or Black Muslims of African descent really got it bad a lot of times. So I think that time was definitely a pivotal moment. Plus, well, I'm not going to say that. But I think it was a very, very trying time. Now, a lot of people say that the nation was united. I never really felt that way. Because after that was right during the .com crash, or right after the .com crash,
yep,
which was in 2000. Aaliyah passed in August of 2001, and then we had 9/11 a month later.
Well, Left Eye, and then Aaliyah.
Oh, when was Left Eye? Left Eye was earlier that year too.
Yeah, it was like, I want to say like they were right after, like they were back to back.
Like June and Aaliyah.
Wow. Yeah, I forgot about that part.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going to say after that.
No, I'm sorry. It says April. I don't know why I put them together. Left Eye actually happened in 2002. I don't know why I thought that Left Eye was
later. So it was after.
Okay.
It was after, but for some reason I linked them all together. It was like boom, boom, boom. Like, or maybe somebody else. But I really thought it was Left Eye.
Because it was a rough time, though. All around, it was a rough time. So we tend to lump all that stuff together. But
Left Eye was from Philly. She actually went to Girls High.
Yeah, she was.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that one.
She was there for like a hot minute, but
she went all the way through, and she actually was kicked out her senior year of Girls High. Yeah.
So did she actually go all the way through then?
I mean, yeah, her senior year. I mean, you were there. I mean, she's from Philly, from Philly.
But back to 9/11. So we saw a lot of economic downturn. And it's well said that, anytime America has a cold, Black folks get the flu. So folks started to lose jobs, and it was crazy. Now, we had a bit of a rebound for a couple of years, but then it wound up going back down into the trash can as well at around 07, 08, 09 during the Great Recession. So it's been rough. It's been some rough years. I think folks don't realize just how bad it's been. Go ahead, Trey.
No, I was like, that's what I was about to say. Like, do y'all realize how many historically tragic events our generation has lived through?
Yeah.
Like, we are lucky that we are standing upright and half of us still got half a brain.
I mean, it seems like they're becoming they're like coming more frequent these days. So the next generation is gonna have it worse than we do.
Or like the silent generation, literally have a lull.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, because I don't see no laws coming no time soon. The way this world looks, I don't see no laws coming.
Oh, Gen Z, y'all gonna get this smoke, honey.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. But 9/11 is interesting because for a short period of time, and I was talking to Kamari and Courtney about this earlier, it kind of felt like we know where we are in the caste system, but for a short period, it felt like we got pushed up a little bit because of Islamophobia and just how folks were being treated. Like even the people that were like the sheiks who weren't necessarily Muslim, like were getting just terrorized. That's one thing I'll never forget is how the country responded.
Yep.
To those events that way. But like you said, in terms of the economy, people that, were coming out of school then and all that were having it bad. Right? They were having it bad. And also, I mean, I could make the argument that 9/11 is such a unique situation because the Patriot Act that came from that, we're still seeing the results of that to this day in terms of how they spy on the average citizens. And again, like everything else, because we are the bottom caste, we get it the worst. That came out of 9/11. I think part of the distrust of government, big institutions, and media, a lot of that came out of 9/11. With the whole idea of WMDs, they get Colin Powell to go on TV and talk about these things that didn't exist. Our distrust of media really came from that, which led the way, years later to, fake news and false media and all those narratives. Even now, to the point where people don't trust big institutions and governments as it pertains to the vax. A lot of that stuff you could trace back to 9/11, right? Because we were so angry and wanted revenge so much, and we empowered the folks to literally sit there and tell us lies to run in another agenda. And a lot of times that's forgotten. So we're still seeing the effects of 9/11 right now in September of 2021.
Facts. Now, there was a story that Courtney shared with us. Do you want to show that, Courtney, about the Black firefighters?
I don't have it pulled up right now. I was surprised.
I have it if you want to pull it up.
Yeah, why don't you pull it up?
So I thought this was really interesting because, and I've seen this a lot, but 9/11 really highlighted this situation. And here, we'll just play the clip real quick and show it to you all. Give us 1 second. Where'd the picture go?
Did you share your sound?
I did.
Okay.
Across the nation pause to remember and honor the legacy of first responders who we lost on September 11th. MSNBC correspondent Tremaine Lee and his Into America podcast team take a look at the history of Black firefighters in New York City, specifically the fight to remember the 12 who died on 9/11 and the struggle for justice and equity for those who carry their legacy.
Of the 343 firefighters who tragically died on 9/11, 12 were Black.
Leon Smith, great guy, always had a big smile on his face.
Captain Paul Washington knew them all.
Captain Vernon Richard, we studied together to become for the captain's exam.
A 33-year veteran of the department, Captain Washington helped recruit, train, and mentor many of them, including Keith Maynard.
That was my friend. I miss Keith.
Washington and Maynard bonded as members of New York's Vulcan Society an association of Black firefighters focused on fighting racial discrimination and building racial equity in the department. Maynard's identical twin, Kevin, remembers their.
What happened to the sound?
Mari, what happened to the sound?
As a New York firefighter, Keith Maynard was gone, killed along with hundreds of others in the collapse of the Twin Towers.
I was numb, and I couldn't believe it.
Even as the nation mourned together, both Captain Washington and Kevin were struck by the lack of representation in the remembrances.
There was never an image of them throughout the whole deal in 9/11. There wasn't always a picture of him. There's one or two stories, but then it was just forgotten.
For Captain Washington, it was symbolic of a larger problem. People of color make up a majority of New York City's population, but the fire department remains overwhelmingly white.
When you're Black on this job, it's just like being Black in America. It's difficult. You got to fight to be treated fairly. You got to fight for them to change the policies that kept Blacks off of this job for so long.
So Washington focused on the fire department's entrance exam.
There was no way you were going to get on the job in New York if you weren't prepared or if you wasn't exposed to the way the test was given and what to expect.
What was the stance of the city and the fire department?
I mean, we brought these issues to their attention, and they would just blow us off, basically, you know.
The Vulcans and the Department of Justice took their grievances to court, and in 2010, a federal judge ruled that the FDNY used the entrance exam to intentionally discriminate against Black and Hispanic applicants, a practice with, quote, deep historical roots.
Where are we at now in terms of the diversity of the department?
Well, the numbers have gone up. Blacks now, we're at about 8 or 9%.
Kevin Maynard, now a firefighter in Houston, knows his brother would have been happy to see the changes the Vulcan Society has achieved. Your brother was committed to diversifying the force.
Yeah.
What's it like for you to come back home and see, brothers and sisters like with that uniform?
I find this really interesting, right?
It's twofold. It's good to see it.
Because this issue of inequality in firefighters happens all the time. And Courtney shared this earlier with us. And I found it interesting, kind of touched home, because my family are firefighters here in Philadelphia. And I know that same story has happened here in Philadelphia time and time again. Actually, there's an organization called the Valiants, which is kind of like the Black Firefighters Union, that had to do exactly what the brothers were doing. The brothers and sisters were doing in New York to get potential Black firefighter candidates to be able to pass the exam. And so I find it really interesting that this happens all over the place.
I just want to salute those brothers, because that's just for what I always say about there's so many wars that we're fighting. Like, I didn't even know that story. I mean, because on my day-to-day life, that doesn't really come up, but I never knew that was an issue. I probably could surmise that because it's an issue everywhere, but I didn't know that was an issue, and that we have people on the front lines that are fighting to change that. So salute to those brothers, because that's just yet another war that's being fought against us.
Another war.
But just think about that. That's a direct attack on Black wealth. I mean,
yes,
direct.
it is. Yes, it is.
Because Black folks can't get jobs in the firefighter departments across the country. This is a problem across the country.
Mm-hmm.
And we're paying taxes for this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Honestly, if you look at a lot of municipal budgets across the nation, the bulk of their expenses go to public safety, which include police and fire. And that's their pensions, that's their salaries, all of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, so if you see a firefighter, a Black firefighter, just give them a nod and say what's up and say thank you.
Yeah, say you're.
Even when you look at the disparity in the fire departments now, I know in Philadelphia, again, we're about 44% of the population. The fire department probably is less than 15%.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they said 8 in New York, which to me is even crazier.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think there's a couple of really, I know we're kind of winding up, but I think there were a couple of really good comments, especially that JA made about some of
the yeah, catch up, Kamar.
Yeah. Right.
Listen, I'm just paying.
We can skip past clickbait stuff. So it's
hey.
That he posted though. I'm a fan of Black Mirror, so I understand what you're. thought
I
process.
get that. Yeah, Black Mirror.
Yeah, I've never watched Black Mirror, so
Black Mirror is if it's clickbait on steroids with so many different elements and stories like clickbait. So I'm here for it. They need to reignite it.
so Jose said this right.
Mhm.
He said, they told my children from young, don't throw the first punch, throw the last one, and I'll back your play regardless. I don't teach my children that. And this isn't an attack you, Jose. I just think it's a great opportunity to talk about it. You never know what somebody's intentions are. And so if they get a chance to throw the first punch and connect, that could be a death sentence. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to go into it too deep.
So you teach your kids to shoot first, ask questions last.
Listen, we all know when you get that spidey African sense going off in the back of your neck, right?
The Miles Morales sense.
You know, that's right, Miles Morales. Shout out to Miles Morales. We all know. So either get ready, make sure your distance is proper. Like I see these fight like videos all the time, and people be up in each other's face, bumping each other. I'm like,
I mean, they did that back in our day. You hit me first. You hit me first.
yeah, but these are adults though. I'm not talking about 12-year-old kids. These are adults. I don't know what you got. I'm fearful of my life if you get that close. I'm just saying.
I can respect that. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I'm at least moving back. I'm creating space.
Understood.
Yeah.
You just need some.
All right. So Courtney, where did you want me to go?
Yes, I think we have gracious. We have a lot of comments. All right.
We got some great comments too, man. You gotta go back.
I know. Yeah, I think we can't even.
Courtney told me to bypass all those, y'all.
Not all of them are about the clickbait though. Like we got. I mean, the one part is I think the last one you showed was Tay Renee's comment with Tracy say nah. That was at 7:49.
Mm-hmm. So I would talk about Latoya started 8:09.
8:09. Here we go.
Oh, quick thing though. Jose said if anybody's looking to get married, he's definitely a licensed officiant.
I saw that. I'm like, damn, Jose, are you a Jamaican? Because you got all the hustles, brother.
I mean, he said he in Brooklyn, right? No, he's in Harlem. He in Harlem now, Bronx to Harlem. I got you.
But he a Harlem dude.
Harlem
world, Harlem on the rise. All right, so we said 8:09, and whose the comment was that?
Latoya Marie. So she says, I think 9/11 was the only time for a few days that maybe we weren't the most hated race in the country.
Yeah,
that's true. We definitely do talk about that and share it. So
hey, can you put the comment from 803 from Demetrius? I just want to make sure we share that comment because I think that's important to say.
So
I just want to say Coochie Shakalia every Sunday when y'all. I like that. I just want to make sure we show that. That was kind of fire.
Okay.
All right. And
thank you, Demetrius.
Yes, Habari Ghani.
What?
Go ahead, Baba Mar. You got it. Hotep Mar.
Come on, Baba Mar.
Habari Ghani means what's the news?
Yes.
Coochie Shakalia is self-determination.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Y'all funny. Listen, but I love y'all though. Y'all rock. All right, so Don Johnson says, for me, when 9/11 happened and I made the choice to lace up my boots, go to work, to go to work military, and for me, it's just another day, and I've been there, done that. Got you.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Donna, who's
Yes.
He says, uniting in the hatred of other brown people.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And that's really deep when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of black folks who were on the bandwagon for that.
Yes, they were. But to be fair, not to be fair, because you should never do that. That's terrible. Mm-hmm. But when and this goes back to the media. When you're watching TV all day, and a lot of us were stuck in front of the TV those days, and you see folks diving from buildings because they rather jump from a building than be in the building. Right. That does something to your psyche, right? I mean, to this day, I can't get those pictures out of my head. I remember watching that, and I'm sitting there like,
I remember hearing the voicemail played over the television stations of people who were on the plane that were flying into the buildings, and they were calling their loved ones to tell them they loved them and that they were on the plane that was high.
Oh.
Like, you cannot get that level of fear, that level of, I know this is the last time. Like, it was so traumatic, so traumatic.
And I think that's a lesson from 9/11 to me, Kamari, is when you talk about people were so angry that they allowed the people that they put in office to kind of just go through and do whatever they want to do.
Yep, that's exactly it.
And I think that's the learning thing.
I think it was also, I think it was more fear than it was anger, because it's like, where's next? What's next? Because we always thought that there was always going to be a what's next. And I don't know. And I actually, yesterday was the first time I ever heard or read the transcript of the telephone call between 911 and somebody on Flight 93.
Mm-hmm.
So just as a background, I was living in Pittsburgh at the time. I went to University of Pittsburgh, and there was, and I remember someone saying, who was downtown, they said, yo, there was a plane flying really low. I mean, this is before like we all knew what was going on. And apparently this was Flight 93, but I didn't know that. But anyway, so I give you that background to say, so he calls 911. He says, hey, listen, I'm on the plane. They have hijackers. And he's like, and so she's like, the woman's, I guess whoever he's talking to on 911, I guess the dispatcher was like, listen, he was like, this is really bad. She's like, I'm on levels with you. There were two planes that hit the World Trade Center, and they both came down. And he was like, okay. And so they apparently have already hatched a plan that they were going to take down the plane, and they figured they were going somewhere because they made like an abrupt turn. So I guess that one was on its way to the White House. I don't know. I mean, I think they assumed it was on its way to the White House, but again, it wasn't very clear. So what they ended up doing is they hatched a plan in the back. He said somebody was already dead in first class. And he kind of gave a blow by blow of what was going on. So she got the FBI on the phone too. They were on the phone. They were all on the phone together. And she was like, hey, basically, I don't even know what to do. They were trying to like walk through it. And he's like, all right, well, we already hatched the plan. We're not going to let it go down. And the last thing he said was like, let's go.
Damn.
And they brought down 93 came down.
Yeah.
So I mean, I got chills reading that, because that was the first time I've ever even heard that. I knew that they said Flight 93, a group of people got together and they got the plane to come down. But I never read that transcript, and I was like, oh my God. And I said, those are the stories that we just don't even hear. There were so many stories from that day.
Yeah.
It was like you kind of, they took the position like, well, we gonna die anyway, so let's go down fighting. And I I'm sad that wasn't highlighted more. Mm-hmm. And I think JA shared that there was a lot of stuff they were saying in 9/11 they had no business saying. Yeah. Like that week, they were just saying stuff out of their mouths. And I was like, oh, and as a college student, I was like, I'm not supposed to say
that Flight 93 was definitely legendary. Like those passengers who took over that plane and took it down to the point where it did not hit whatever the intended target was.
Mm-hmm.
Was Flight 93 the flight that went down in Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Yes.
It was, because initially, and here's the other thing, it initially said it went down in Pittsburgh. My mom hit the roof.
Yeah.
Because remember, the cell phones were down. So right. I'm in Pittsburgh, and she had no idea what happened, but it was 90 miles outside of Pittsburgh, like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, like Swanksville or something.
Swanksville is correct. Yeah.
But I definitely feel like with everything that happened with 9/11, there was definitely a thought process of crisis management that went across a lot of like Black and brown people. Like just from a space of, okay, there's about to be some targets against Muslims. There's about to be some targets against, Black people once they decide that this is now, they moved on from this crisis and we're back into being hated again. Like it's always a crisis management and a DEFCON 5 of what is the most important thing that needs to get taken care of first. And
facts.
That's an intense trauma in itself to be always in crisis mode of, if I have to run, who and what am I taking with me so that way I can make it to safety?
You should always have a go bag.
This is true.
Yeah.
But I want to share something real quick. Don kind of sparked my memory to this, right? And I just think it's so apropos. If you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. And we saw that during 9/11. The great ancestor taught us well. Don't know if people are really taking heed to many of the works of all the great ancestors.
Man, Malcolm was one of a kind, man. Malcolm was just one of a kind. You guys got to watch Blood Brothers. Like, it's, man, just one of a kind.
Yeah. Now, Courtney, if you don't mind, I want to jump to a comment that I see in the chat.
Uh-oh.
I wish I had the Dr. Umar clip right now, but I don't.
For Jose's 812 comment.
I saw that. I'm doing it.
Listen. So Jose says, I was in bed with a 6F I was dating at the time, and her mom called to tell her, look at the news today or that day. I was then sort of trapped in the West Village for a day or so. I was 21 at the time. He wasn't trapped. He went in the closet.
He had to eat food with raisins for a couple of days, Jose.
Come on.
Yo, Jose is so transparent.
Listen, Jose's the man. Listen, all his faults, everything, he just is open with it. That's hilarious.
You gotta love it.
Like, oh my God, I can't.
What's wrong, Courtney?
I don't know what to say.
What's on your mind? Say what's on your mind.
Hey, J.A., that doc, Core of Corruption in the Shadows, what's that on? If you don't mind.
J.A.
Oh no, Don's comment. Okay, Don. Time for you to go to bed, sir. All right. Okay. What time is it? Oh geez. Adrienne and Candy has some really good yo, listen,
y'all, this is the Black Wolf Project After Dark. This show is only for adults.
OMG. Okay, we're just so there's Nicole Noel shares that the Philly beatdown is not a myth. I think that's
as it relates to what?
I know, you know.
What's up, Nicole, by the way?
I don't know.
Listen,
I felt like it had to be highlighted. I felt like it was something that needed to be highlighted.
Listen, Eagles fans threw snowballs at Santa Claus. I mean,
I thought they were batteries.
What Nicole's saying is correct.
I thought it was batteries at Santa Claus.
It was probably both. It was probably both.
It did a lot of things. It was a lot of things being thrown.
Yes.
We blew Destiny's Child.
Yeah, we kind of did.
But see, don't come to Philly wearing a Lakers jersey. I don't care if you like them or not.
Yeah.
No, listen, I can wear Kobe jersey anywhere.
No. That's not
now you can.
Finals.
Hold on though. I put Adrian's comment from 832. I think that's actually a pretty interesting comment.
Yeah.
Right. And when she talks about the one thing she noticed is how unprepared Chicago was in terms of knowing how to operate or evacuate in an event like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to take out a lot of people. They could have hit every main train station. There was so much confusion, and we were sitting ducks. I was in Center City, Philadelphia when it happened. And it was kind of the same thing. But even most recently with this pandemic, like when you start to realize how pretty much everything's being held on by a string.
Yep.
Like when everything's normal and we're going, you don't realize that this whole thing is being held on by a string. When it hits the fans, you realize how just unprepared we all are for all of this.
Yep. The stress test for a lot of systems and situations that we are living on and operating on are very thin. And if they're tested slightly, or if there's a huge disaster, I was actually interning at Merck when 9/11 hit, and we were all in the cafeteria right after the first plane hit the first building. And when I tell you the silence across everybody that literally gathered from all the buildings that came over to the cafeteria, because they had like literally 6 televisions just rolled in on wheels for people to watch all of the stations. And everybody was like frantically calling their kids, checking on their family members in New York. Like, it was, the self-service was jammed. People couldn't get calls in. Like, it was just absolute mayhem from a standpoint of, I am so scared and so freaked out that I can't even talk right now. And it was just like, in that moment, you saw how fragile things were in the space of one thing could happen and it literally could have a ripple effect across everything in your entire life and how you do things moving forward.
Yeah,
Facts.
pretty much.
Facts.
And JA, by the way, inbox me that YouTube link. I went and looked for it on YouTube. I don't know if they took it down or whatever, but I can't find it, you know.
Yeah, no, I think those are, but I think even with some of the major disasters we've had in the last couple of months, it's still showing us like stuff is not good. I mean, we had tornadoes.
Oh my God.
Last week.
Yeah.
We had tornadoes. We had, 676 was the 676 canal.
Floods. Full flood.
We had just floods. I mean, we just were not really ready for anything. And I think, again, it reminded me that I was like, in our house, we just moved in. And I was like, do we have candles?
Yeah, we gotta have all that. You gotta have candles. You gotta have a go bag. You gotta have extra Chick-fil-A sauce. You need all of it.
That was the first time that we literally, as a family, were like, everybody needs an emergency bag in the house, like batteries, generator, canned goods, plus like antiseptics and any kind of band-aids and stuff. Like, everybody has some sort of bag like that in their house, and everybody's in my family because of 9/11.
That's dope. But shout out to Jimmy for always being able to show his love to the white folks.
First off, that's God's food. It's not, that's not a 6F thing. That's God.
That's God. Oh,
it's God's food. God's food. That's why it's closed on Sundays. It's God's food.
You talking about?
Oh, by the way, Tracy, I do gotta blame you too. You sent us a thing about those Judy packs, right? And And I shared it with Monica, so now Monica's getting like she's, yeah.
Good.
I said, look what Tracy showed me, and next thing I know, she's up all night doing research on the best Judy pack.
All right, what's a Judy pack?
What's the Judy pack?
Capricorn too. It's an emergency pack, it's called Judy. Everybody Google it, look it up. But it literally has very, very plain names for each box, so like you don't have to in emergency go rumbling for the flashlight or rumbling for the band-aids. Like, it'll have a box on it that says this is band-aids, this is water, this is whatever, and it's all in the bag. And they say every person in the household should have one Judy bag per person.
Yeah. Monica's low-key a doomsday prepper.
I ain't mad. Not bad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm definitely a fan. Like, oh, these aren't cheap though, y'all. Sheesh.
No. Judy packs. Judy packs aren't cheap at all.
But they're not cheap at all.
But they definitely not cheap.
You can get a version of it on Amazon with some of the same stuff. It's just not as packaged as neatly, but you can still do it.
See, now, Kamari, peep Adrian's comment. This is a proof that, like, you know how Facebook has those commercials about all the various groups that are on Facebook, and they pick like the craziest group to highlight. You know what I'm saying? It'll be like, brothers that are like, single with one arm that, play basketball on Wednesdays, and they have a group on Facebook. There's like a group for everything, which is why, a shout out to everybody.
All right, hold on, I'll pull it up. I just wanted to show this Judy pack real quick.
Yeah.
So everybody can get a sense of this. I've only heard of go bags. I never heard of Judy bags, or Judy
pack.
This backpack. So
yeah,
this is
it's fair.
It's
a little bit more organized, and they put everything in little neat boxes. So in an emergency, you can just kind of grab the box with the name on it. But like I said, you can go to Amazon and find an emergency preparatory pack, anywhere.
Yeah, but for $199, I'm thinking $50 I can get all this on my own.
Yeah, but it ain't Judy though.
Yeah, but Judy's probably a 6F, so why we want to give 6F for money?
Like,
well, let's create our own. Let's create our own brand.
That's right. Can we
You know
get
what
a
I'm saying?
Tamika or
Tamika
Aisha
bag.
bag?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Get a Keisha bag, something.
Keisha bag. I like that one. We're gonna start our own brand out here. Keisha bag. You know what I mean?
All right, so this is what we talking about, Jim.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like that's an actual group. The
What?
SHTF group of black women. So there's black women that have an SHTF group.
So is that shut the
No. That's Ish Hits the Fan.
oh,
I only know that.
oh
I only know that from studying precious metals. That's a term that's used in the precious metals community. You're supposed to have a SHFT little stash.
yes, add me to that group. I need to get all the pearls of
You see, Adrian, I don't know about like that kind of group. You add because that's gonna cause trauma because I can imagine the kind of stories and stuff they're preparing for in that group.
Listen, I need to know where the Underground Railroad is in the event that, you know, Noah's Ark comes back. Like, y'all just need to let me.
Listen, I've said a couple of times, I was like, I'm really gonna put like a raft in my car.
Yeah.
Look, everybody trying to get added to the group. Elizabeth want to be added.
Yeah, I want to be added though. But I'm saying I've talked about that before because there's been too many water rescues. I'm like, yo, this is too much.
Can you swim?
Yeah, I can swim, but you can't swim against some of those currents.
No, you can't. But you know, a lot of us can't swim. So
yeah, I can swim. I actually had a little near drowning accident in Chestnut Hill when I was like 6. So that's that.
Look, everybody trying to get added. Yo, Adrian, my fault, Adrian. I'm gonna put you out there. Everybody need to get in that SHTF group now.
I'm gonna just say this, right? If it ain't us that's running it, can we please create our own?
Ooh, she said it's of black women.
Oh, all right, whatever. I'm down with it.
She said it's a black women's group.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that part.
So Adrian, you got to add Monica because I can't get in the group. But I want to see what kind of ratchetness y'all talking about in there. Because I thought that guys' group chats was bad, man. Y'all women's group chats is y'all be never mind.
Listen, the women are like women just carry it better. They're more, they can finesse better, but they get busy too.
That's because they're smarter than us, man.
They are. The black woman is God, so you know it's all good. All right, Don says no place is ready for that level of destruction.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I agree. But the thing is, Don, though, I agree with that wholeheartedly. No one's ready for that. But what I realized going through certain things is we ain't ready for nothing.
No, nothing.
We're not ready for nothing.
And even that swimming conversation is a very interesting conversation because a lot of people who know how to swim actually don't know how to swim with a life jacket, which is a completely different animal, especially if there's fear involved and you have the life jacket. So I think in an emergency preparedness space, people kind of have to like put themselves in a pseudo emergency. Like, let me simulate this so that way I can kind of have some bearings when it actually goes down. And that's just something that from a personal standpoint, family should be doing in general, just to kind of be like, hey, so in case you ever have to put one on, let's put you in a life jacket and float you.
Interesting.
I think one thing though, like one benchmark, can we all survive for 5 days without access to food and water?
Can I still use DoorDash?
Hey, listen, if DoorDash got hydroplanes, then absolutely.
Yo, are y'all laughing? But during that storm last week, some of them dashers was out.
They was out.
Getting them tips and everything, man. They was out here walking through water.
They was out.
Define survive.
I'm just saying, if you can't get to the supermarket, right? If
Tracy said she need her a fine meal. She can't do that, Ratchet. She needs a fine meal every couple of days.
No, but I'm just saying, can you hold down the fort for 5 days if something crazy goes down and you can't really leave the house? Like listen, they're talking about another January 6th happening again.
They are.
Right. And so I don't want to put this out there, but let's just talk about it because we're amongst family, right? What would happen if that hit one of our neighborhoods? Could we survive that? 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, just water and food. Do we have enough water and storage to survive for at least 5 days?
Yeah. I hope Monica cut this off because we about to have like 55 Judy packs, a bunch of canned goods, 8 cases of water sent to the crib. Listen to you, Kamari.
Listen, I'm sorry. I'm on a protected class list. I will get airlifted out of here and into a bunker someplace.
Yeah. Okay.
Keisha packs coming soon. Everybody watching, look out for these Keisha packs. Keisha packs coming soon.
Keisha packs.
I'd be like, I think y'all don't know what's. Let me know y'all made it.
God forbid you can't make it to that airlift though.
Yeah.
To the LZ.
Yeah, I'ma make it.
Listen, we might have to do some Black Wall Project gun training.
We should have been doing some.
No, I'm with that. A meetup at a gun range.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm definitely. Yeah.
You gotta
You gotta learn how to shoot.
do it.
Not even how to shoot, how to walk with a gun, right? How to handle a gun. Like there's so much to it. If we're going down this path, we got to be thinking about any and everything.
Okay. So that being said, there's a lot going on. Oops, I got lost. Hold on. I'm coming back.
Nicole, you have to put that kind of energy out there, Nicole.
Well, she's not lying. She's
Are
telling
we
the truth.
supposed to have a harsh winter?
Yeah, we are.
Enough. I was telling Ty, I literally said, yo, we gotta get some ice melt. And I was just like basically just saying we need to have some ice melt. And I was really not thinking anything else, but we don't have. And I'm thinking now that, like, you know, with my older people, like they may have to kind of hang out with us because that's not.
They're not gonna be able to do it by themselves.
Boy, I tell you, boy, I can see my tomorrow. About to be shopping tomorrow. I'm gonna have ice melt, Judy packs, water. Listen to this show tonight, man.
Small. Make sure that when you get the ice melt, that you're not getting the one with the chemical compound because it breaks down.
Tear up your sidewalks.
Yep.
No, we don't want that.
No, don't get that one. Get the other one. The one that is
Is it the white balls?
I think actually can probably put it in the chat. I forget which one it is, but it's not the. I think it's magnesium sulfate, not that one.
Okay. Oh, Monica said y'all Gucci.
I'm pretty sure we do. We probably got crates of it. I think y'all think I'm joking, y'all.
And we good.
All right.
All right, y'all. Well, I think it's been a interesting and also pairing evening.
Correct.
Yeah, Monica says the pellets, not. I think that's what I was talking about. But either way, it's been a great charcoal grill, dry bean, canned food. That's what we should be having in our homes. This is stressful, y'all. Like I have now officially hit stress levels.
Yeah, man, it's time to get off here now, man, because y'all got me stressed out now, man.
Like
listen, these are the conversations we need to be having. Everybody wants to talk about these blue Lambos, but everybody forgets how we were stranded in the Dome in New Orleans and how bad we were treated. So let us not forget.
Never forget.
Great point.
All right. So we will see you guys next Sunday, you know, same time, same place. Yeah. Any last comments?
Everybody be prepared, man. Just be prepared for whatever happens, man. We love y'all and appreciate the support as always. And we'll see y'all next Sunday.
Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready.
There you go.
Bye.
Keisha packs coming soon.
Keisha.